Today, we'll provide an update to the so-called SUPERSPREADER event that happened on the MSC Virtuosa. We'll let you know what's going on and maybe what the future holds for the cruise ship. Also, Carnival Cruise Line is tightening down some of their casino rules. I'll tell you what you need to know. They go into effect today. Royal Caribbean has canceled ports of calls for one of their ships, but also they'll be restarting on the West Coast. And we'll have the full update of all the cruise ships starting back up in the month of September. All that and more coming up on Midships. Hey, welcome to the Midships YouTube channel. I'm your Captain Corey, and it is Saturday. All right, we made it to the weekend. I hope you have some wonderful plans to enjoy the last couple weekends of summertime. A quick reminder before we get into today's cruise news. Our giveaway is currently live. If you'd like your chance to win the towel bands, which are awesome to pack light and still bring on your cruise, keeps your towels from blowing away on that top deck. Plus this passport holder, which is actually so much cooler than I even realized. Inside, you can not only hold your passport, but it takes your vaccine card, which is really sweet. Plus there's some room to store a backup method of payment in case you have problems when you're traveling, SIM cards, cash, whatever you need. So both of these products are available to win, and I'll go ahead and leave the link in the description below, plus up in this top corner. If you're on mobile, take you right to the giveaway video. Super easy. If you can't wait to get your hands on any of these giveaway products, there are affiliate links in the description below. Now let's give an update to the Carnival Cruise Line home testing policies. We touched on it yesterday, but we have a little bit more information I can give you today. So we'll touch on an article from cruiseindustrynews.com. Carnival Cruise Lines approved COVID-19 home tests explained. As the cruise industry is adapting to the new CDC regulation stating that all passengers must test negative against coronavirus no more than 2 days before sailing, cruisers may be troubled by more worries ahead of their holidays. In a bid to alleviate some of the difficulties, Carnival Cruise Line has announced it will accept specific home tests for fully vaccinated travelers wanting to sail with the cruise line. According to Carnival's website, a medically observed self-test, sometimes referred to as a home test, used by guests must meet the following criteria. It must be a COVID-19 viral test, NAAT or antigen, with emergency use authorization from the US FDA. The testing procedure must include a telehealth service affiliated with the manufacturer of the test that provides real-time supervision remotely through an audio and visual connection. Some authorized self-tests that include the telehealth service may require a prescription. The telehealth provider must confirm the person's identity, observe the specimen collection and testing procedures, confirm the test result, and issue a report that meets the requirements of acceptable proof of a negative COVID test. And while we're talking about acceptable requirements and take-home tests, I want you to know we actually received a great comment from some Midships viewers, and I'm going to show it to you now. And basically, they go ahead and let you know that these self-tests do have an expiration date, and it's quite short of a window. So we're going to read that comment now. This comment is from the Midships family members, Two Straight Gays, and they say, "Do not order your home kits too early. They are only good for about 2 months. I just ordered from the Royal Caribbean link, and the tests expire at the end of October. We called the company and they said the tests they have now on September 10th of 2021 either expire in October or November, but the dates are being extended until January 2022. Crossing our fingers, Royal complies with the new dates. Just a tip." So thanks so much to some Midships family members here reaching out to us and letting us know that we do have a short window of time that these tests are good. It looks like you have about 2 months of time to go ahead and use them, so make sure you order accordingly. So hopefully that helps clear up some of the questions surrounding these at-home tests. Now that comment about the expiration date obviously applies to more than just Carnival or Royal Caribbean. Any cruise lines using this Abbott Binax Now home prescription test card will have the same type of expiration date. As part of these home tests, there has been a recent extension of the expiration date on these tests, an additional 2 months. Hopefully this extension gets observed by the cruise lines, but as of now, we want to go ahead and proceed with caution, and whatever expiration date is on that test, go ahead and assume that's when it is no longer going to be good. So let's talk about this so-called super spreader event going on aboard a cruise ship that's generated all kind of buzz on, I know, my videos and everybody else's videos here on YouTube. We're going to read an article from a local paper in the area where this is all going down. From the Dorset Echo by Emily Liddell. MSC Virtuosa due to dock amid COVID outbreak rumors. A cruise ship on which a man died at Portland was due to dock in Southampton today amid COVID outbreak rumors. MSC Virtuosa is set to dock at Southampton docks at 6 a.m., but concerns have been raised following rumors and reports of a coronavirus outbreak on board. A number of news outlets have reported passengers falling ill, with a death also being reported. Customers have taken to Twitter to share their experience on board. We have a tweet here with a photo. This is on board MSC Cruises Virtuosa, where no rules are followed or enforced. Overcrowded ship and COVID everywhere. We tested positive on the last day and they didn't care or couldn't care. We have a photo here along with the tweet that shows some of the MSC staff in their white PPE suits on board. As reported by the Liverpool Echo on Thursday, September 9th, Wilf Broyden died after battling coronavirus, which his family believe he contracted while on a week-long cruise aboard the Virtuosa. The Dorset Echo also reported a death on board the ship, but it is not confirmed at this time if the death is connected to coronavirus. And we did tell you about that second passenger who did pass away on board. We've not actually been able to corroborate if that passenger had COVID or not, but the information we found so far is that he did not have coronavirus. But anytime someone passes away on board a ship, it's shocking and traumatic, and the hearts of the Midship family go out to the families and friends of these individuals who tragically are no longer with us. Dorset police were called to Portland Port at 1:53 p.m. on Sunday afternoon, September 5, after receiving reports of the sudden death of a man. We're going to skip over Jim Walker's tweet here. We've already been through his article in yesterday's video. You can go ahead and check that out on our channel. The man in his 70s was on board MSC Virtuosa, which moored at Portland Port. His death is not being treated as suspicious, and his family have been informed. A spokesperson for the Dorset police said, "We were called by staff at the Portland Port to reports of a sudden death of a man in his 70s on board the Virtuosa." So like every story, there are two sides and two perspectives. So we do need to go ahead and hear what MSC has to say about the situation aboard MSC Virtuosa. MSC said they've seen an uptick of cases both at embarkation and during the cruise, but refused to comment on whether there was an outbreak on board the vessel. A spokesperson for the brand says MSC Virtuosa will be in Southampton tomorrow, scheduled to operate normally both for disembarkation of current guests. Any suspect cases have been handled in accordance with the protocols and in full coordination with relevant shoreside health and port authorities. As we speak, our ashore and onboard staff are already hard at work to prepare to welcome the new guests scheduled to board tomorrow for their cruise holiday. As cruise lovers, it's really hard to hear things like super spreader and careless crew members and poor protocols going on board cruise ships. Now, MSC has been sailing for over a year. So of note, so far their protocols have worked out very, very well. And maybe we just had one slip through the cracks. There's a chance this is a one-off situation. And seemingly that's exactly what it is, a one-off situation. We wish everybody the best of health and a speedy recovery. Now we're going to pivot and talk about a US-based cruise line, Carnival Cruise, and we're going to talk about something near and dear to a lot of Midships hearts, and that is the casino on board the ship. I know, I just got back from Vegas. I went up big this time, like usual. That's because craps is obviously the best game in the casino. You can go ahead and hate me in the comments. I'm fine with that. So let's read an article from cruisehive.com by Emery Thacker. Carnival Cruise Line updates casino protocols across their fleet. Carnival Cruise Line updates its casino protocols to ensure guests remain protected while on board. This update was posted September 8th and will go into effect this weekend, so now it's in effect. It comes at a time when cruise lines are adapting to the fluid situation with new variants spreading. We're starting to see continued updates weekly as the cruise industry works on keeping cruise ships sailing. And they're not wrong. It seems like every few days we're getting new updates and new policies, procedures, testing, rules on board. So it's important you remain an educated traveler and you advocate on your behalf for these cruises. Something like subscribing to this channel is a great way to do that. If you haven't done so, why don't you go ahead and do that? And if you absolutely love cruising and can't wait for your next cruise, smash that thumbs up button. Literally attack that thing. It really helps us out in the algorithm. It's free for you, and you're just going to help other people learn and spread the word about these cruise protocols. Only guests who are actually playing and their companions will be allowed to remain in the casino. The players sitting down will also be the only ones permitted to smoke, and a face mask must be worn at all times unless eating or drinking, and presumably smoking because you don't want your mask to go up in flames. That would be kind of weird. The bar will also remain closed, and players can only have drinks delivered by the staff, which absolutely sucks because you know there's never enough people to bring drinks around while you're at the casino, and I would know firsthand. Here are the full protocols for the Carnival Casino. Casinos are for active players and their companions only. There is no gathering otherwise in the casino. Seats at gaming tables and slots are reserved for players only, so you can't just sit and chill and watch the comings and goings in the casino. There is no smoking in the casino unless you are seated and playing. Smoking is not permitted inside the casino when it is closed. Guests will be expected to wear a face mask unless they are smoking or drinking their beverage. The casino bar is closed. Drinks will only be delivered to casino players by our staff. And as we know, we refer to staff members on a cruise ship as the crew. So what do we think about the new requirements to gamble in the Carnival Casino? Is it what you expected? I know personally it's fairly close in line to the current policies out in Las Vegas. Let's talk about the new ships we're going to see entering service in the month of September. From cruiseindustrynews.com, 61 cruise brands are expected to sail in September. Here's the list. And we're definitely not going to go through all 61 of these. It would take all day. We're just going to hit some of the notable things here. The accelerated cruise industry restart is now reaching about half the world's 410 ship cruise fleet, as more than 200 vessels sail across several regions of the globe in September. 61 cruise lines are set to be in service this month. So let's start with a major brand, and that is Royal Caribbean. They're going to have 14 vessels back in service here in September, and some notable ones here. We've got Oasis of the Seas, just completed her very first paid passenger voyage out of Bayonne, New Jersey. Later this year, Oasis is going to be sailing down to Miami, Florida, but for the time being, all my Midships family who loves sailing out of the New York area, enjoy Oasis. Now we've got the full list over here of ships that are sailing in service for Royal and some notable ones. Let's go ahead, hit that Adventure of the Seas. Of course, Midships will be sailing on her. It's November 1st out of Galveston, Texas. If you have the chance to hop on that November 1st sailing, we'll actually be able to meet and greet some of the Midships family while on board. So can't wait for that one. In the coming days, I'm going to walk you through the Royal Caribbean check-in process and show you how that works. So we also have Freedom, Odyssey, Allure, Ovation, Symphony, Mariner of the Seas. So some big names, and stay tuned on Mariner of the Seas. There are some changes to those itineraries we need to tell you about. It's going to be actually the next story here. Let's look at the Carnival Cruise Line. Of course, they kicked off big time with the new Mardi Gras, but after a 16-month operational pause, they're back in business here. We've got some big restart news here in September with Carnival Pride, the Dream, and the Glory all set to start up this week. So let's go for everybody sailing on board those ships. MSC has 10 cruise ships back in service. We talked yesterday about MSC Divina, who's going to start on Thursday of next week. So great news coming out of the Port Canaveral area we've got MSC back in service in September. So Norwegian is next up on the list, and we've got a big resumption of service for folks wanting to sail out of New York City coming up on September 26th. That's the Norwegian Breakaway, a beautiful ship. So excited to see that one begin service here later this month. So congratulations to all the cruisers and all the ships that are going back in service this September. Now, while we're talking about some ships in service, we do need to touch on the Mariner of the Seas. She's got some changes to some itineraries coming up, and we'll tell you about it now. From cruisehive.com by Robert McGilvery. Royal Caribbean cancels more calls to its private destination in Haiti. Royal Caribbean sent out an email to guests booked on board Mariner of the Seas. It states it will not be visiting Labadee, Haiti, and has made some itinerary adjustments. The cruise line had previously canceled calls to its private destination at Labadee for Allure of the Seas in October. That policy seems to have been extended to Mariner as well, bringing itinerary changes for those sailings. Guests have also posted that they've received communications for December calls as well. So if you're scheduled on a Royal Caribbean cruise that's scheduled to call to Labadee, Haiti through the rest of the year, it's likely you may see changes similar to what we're about to talk about. Due to the unrest in the country, Royal Caribbean has changed its itinerary for Mariner of the Seas, which was supposed to call in Labadee on November 20th. Instead, the ship will be sailing to 2 ports in Mexico. Now, I've noticed in the comments section on our giveaway video, we have a lot of Midships cruisers who like to go out of Baltimore. I've never been out of there, but it sounds like maybe I should probably start. And we've got a story just for you. From cruisehive.com by Emery Stacker. 5th Carnival ship sails for Miami after receiving her new livery during dry dock. Carnival Legend becomes the 5th Carnival cruise ship to receive its new paint job during her dry dock. The vessel has now departed and is already on her way back to the U.S. It comes ahead of the ship resuming operations out of Baltimore in November. We have some beautiful nighttime photography from Tony Davis here. The Spirit class Carnival cruise ship was in dry dock between July 30th and August 20th. During this time, the new hull livery was added. Man, oh man, does that ship look fantastic. I'm so excited for my Baltimore cruisers to hop on board. I'm actually quite tempted to book a cruise out of Baltimore just to hop on that ship and see this port that you all say is fantastic. We have one more quick story for you guys, and that is a resumption of cruising for the West Coast viewers. That's right, we've got Royal Caribbean news. From cruisehive.com by Emery Stacker. Royal Caribbean releases new video ahead of restarting cruises from California. We're not going to touch on the video. We're only going to touch on the restart. However, if you'd like to take a look for yourself, this article, along with all the articles referenced in today's video, are linked in the description below. Navigator of the Seas to resume from Los Angeles. In November, the first Royal Caribbean cruise ship is preparing to resume operations out of LA. This will be the first ship in the fleet to restart from the state since suspensions began in March of 2020. Navigator of the Seas will begin cruising on November 19th from the port of Los Angeles. For departures from the U.S., including California, guests age 12 and older have to provide proof of vaccination. Guests under this age will still be allowed to cruise, but there will be extra protocols in place. So remember, cruising is a very fluid situation right now, and the protocols we just read about may have changed by the time your cruise begins on board Navigator of the Seas, but it's so good that we now have options going out of California. Before you get going today, don't forget to get entered for our giveaway. The link is in the description below. I just want to take a quick second to thank all of you for watching and commenting and interacting with our content over the last couple of days. We've noticed a huge uptick in our views and our subscribers, and the interaction down in the chat section is absolutely fantastic. Thank you guys so very much. One last thing, today is the 20th anniversary of September 11th. It's very important that we don't forget what happened on that day to our fellow countrymen and women. Just go ahead and take a few moments today and reflect on that going forward. It's definitely something to never forget. God bless those families that had to go through all of that. I know If you were alive during that, you know exactly the day and time that you heard about it. It's emblazoned forever in my mind, and it's just something that is so, there's almost no words to describe it, but still 20 years later, it's a fresh thing, at least in my heart and presumably in yours as well. But thank you guys so much for tuning in today. We'll see you tomorrow on the Midships.